5?
10.
10, okay.
Yeah.
Please.
All right.
Bill, you should tell these folks what the musician's salute is. You don't know the music? Sure you do. It's this.
Oh,
And to give you an idea of what a thrill it is to be here with Bill, I have not looked at my watch once. And he gave me the signal. It's like, no, we just started.
well, I could tell you stories all night long, but you would just laugh.
A laugh is nothing to sneeze at.
Well, I'll just, as part of my career has been being a writer, which started when I was in high school. I had some really good teachers that got me into the English language and introduced me to the New Yorker writers, and I fell in love with Thurber and E.B. White and people like that. So when I tried to write things, I tried to use those people as a model of how to use the English language. And I did an article for Downbeat. I did a couple of things for Gene Leese's Jazz Letter some years later. And then when I got involved in union politics and ran for the executive board of Local 802 around 1980, I was there on the board for about 20 years, I guess. But when we started out, the new president, John Glazell, who was a very good trumpet player, he said, how'd you like to write a column for the monthly paper? I said, yes, I would, and I know exactly the column I want to write. On almost every gig where there's more than 2 musicians, either at the rehearsal or at the record date or in the band room on the job, they get together and tell stories about each other and laugh. And that's one of the best parts of being a musician. So, in fact, Phil Woods one time, he went to a record date, and he found out that they had pre-recorded the whole orchestra the day before, and he was just supposed to dub in his solo. And he says, who am I supposed to laugh with? So I started this column, the first month or two, I believe. I just wrote down good musician stories that people had told me or scenes that I had been on that seemed funny to me. And everybody got the idea immediately, and I started getting anything interesting or funny that happened in the music business, I would hear about it immediately. In fact, I was on a job one time, and some guy says, hey, if something funny happens, who are we supposed to call? But it turned out to be a very successful column that I've been doing since 1980. Isn't that amazing? And I haven't had to go looking for stories yet. They just keep coming in. I used up my whole file last month and thought, well, I'm going to have to write something. And already I've got 5 new stories on my desk that came in either on the internet or by telephone. So there used to be a guy who was in charge of the whole Oxford University Press, United States, for a guy named Sheldon Meyer. He was a senior vice president there. And he knew that Oxford had published collections of anecdotes from the military and from opera and from literature. And he couldn't see why there shouldn't be a collection from jazz. He was a jazz fan. So he had attracted a number of jazz writers already to Oxford, and he called them all up and said, who would be the right person to do a collection of anecdotes? And they all pointed at me because of my column. So he called me up, and I sent him 5 or 6 of the columns, and he said, oh yes, let's do this. And he sent me in advance. I bought a new computer and started collecting. It took me about 2 years to collect all the stories that were out there. I went over to the Institute of Jazz Studies and read everything that they have there, and read everybody's autobiography and the oral history collection from the Smithsonian. And then I started putting this together, and I realized that the stories that were from my own personal experience had a little different color, and I had so much stuff anyway. I just kept my own stuff out. And the first book was called Jazz Anecdotes, and it was very successful. And so I called Sheldon up and said, I think I've got another book. And I showed him what I had, and he said, "Oh yes, definitely," and gave me another advance. And it didn't take me as long to write the second one because it was my own personal experiences. And I had already written a number of character sketches for Gene Lee's Jazz Letters, so I used those. And that book is called From Birdland to Broadway, and they're both still in print. Isn't that nice? And the Jersey Jazz publication has started. They started out just excerpting a couple of stories every month from my column, but now they're publishing the whole column, so it's getting a little wider distribution than it used to have. But anyway, that's my literary credentials.
Can you tell us one of your favorite stories?
Well, let's see. When Zoot Sims was on his last go round, he only had a couple of days to live. I went to visit him, and he's lying in bed. And I took a whole bunch of old photographs I had of friends that I knew he remembered, and he enjoyed lying there and identifying everybody. Oh, Alan Eager. Oh, I know him. I know. And then he started to try to get out of bed, and I said, "Where are you going?" He says, "I want a glass of water." I said, "Well, let me get it for you." He says, "No, I'm the only one that knows the way I like it." But he and Al were wonderful. Al Cohn and Zoot worked together a lot, and they were both very quick with the Al Cohn. I ran into him in front of Charlie's one day, and I said, "What have you been doing?" He says, "I just finished a record date with 26 mandolin players." I said, "Where in the world did you find that many mandolin players?" He says, "All I know is all day today in Jersey City you couldn't get a haircut." And one time, Zoot had been tippling a little more than usual one night at the half note, and so when everybody else is packed up and is on their way out the door, he's still on the bandstand playing. And Al turns around and says, "Zoot, take off the red shoes." He was very quick. I saw him in front of Charlie's one time, and he was growing a new mustache. And I said, "Al, you look like a cross between Groucho Marx and Emilio Zapata." And he flicked the ashes off of an imaginary cigar and said, "Groucho Marx."
Hey, Bill, I'm going to jump in here, and I'm going to make a request. Do you happen to know a song called Sing Baby Sing?
Yes, I do. I just thought of it. This song. This is a wonderful old song that I'm trying to revive. It comes from an Alice Faye movie in the 30s. And actually it has jazz credentials. Charlie Barnett recorded it back around then. But let's see. What did I say? B flat?
B flat, you said.
Okay. When troubles trouble you, sing, baby, sing. Do like the birdies do. Sing, baby, sing. When cold winter comes and they're all out of crumbs, poor little birdies, they ain't eating, but they're tweet, tweet, tweeting. Oh, don't you know, a song a day will keep old Mr. Gloom away. Hard luck doesn't like music with that certain swing, so swing when you sing, baby, sing.
troubles trouble you. Sing, baby, sing, do like the birdies do. Sing, baby, sing, when cold winds